The country's load shedding problems, and we know that the President Cyril Ramaphosa is expected to conduct an oversight visit at the Tutuka plant in Mpumalanga. Let's cross to our reporter Liabo Setho, who's there, and we expect the President to arrive at any given time. Liabo Setho, very good morning to you. What do we expect from the President and this oversight visit? What is expected to happen today?
Good morning, Liabo, and good morning to our viewers. We have arrived here at the Tutuka Power Station where we understand the President will be doing an oversight visit and hopefully address us. We still don't know much of the details about what informs this oversight visit, except that, you know, the country has been suffering through weeks of load shedding that has even been ramped up to stage 6. So it is not entirely surprising that the President, as well as the ministers and some prime ministers, prime ministers will be coming to Tutuka Power Station. The President will be hosted by the Prime Minister of Mpumalanga, Ms. She will be receiving her since, of course, she oversees the province of Mpumalanga. What we do know, Liabo, about this power station is that this is the very same power station that back in May, the Eskom executives told us that there had been sabotage here. Well, we don't know whether we will hear more information about whatever transpired of that case of sabotage that did lead to a bout of load shedding. And it's one of the lowest performing power stations that Eskom has on its books, with 6 units each contributing about 690 megawatts of power. So if there will be a significant announcement made with regards to this power station, we don't know at this moment. We await the arrival, and we are expecting the dignitaries to arrive at any time. So far, just 1 or 2 cars that I've seen. Not sure who's inside, but I do know that some of the dignitaries will be coming here. And let me correct myself. I did say earlier on that it is Ms. Ntsipane, who is the premier of Mpumalanga. She'll be coming here along with some ministers, and I believe it will be the Minister of Public Enterprises. We'll see whether he will be coming here. As you know, that Eskom falls under his portfolio, as well as Kwete Mandashe, who is the Minister of Minerals and Energy. Yesterday, what we do remember is that at that SABC conference, there were some telling signs of what is on the minds of government with regards to what should happen with the power situation level. The President did mention that he had been speaking to Minister Kwete Mandashe about the power situation, and that there had been on the table an issue of establishing another SOE that would really rival Eskom, so that it's not an only power supplier. Whether we'll hear anything with regards to that and how that would work out, if indeed it were true, I suppose we would have to wait until that oversight meeting takes place, and hopefully when the President does address us.
And Liabo, I mean, we've heard this conversation where the general manager of Tutuka said, you know, part of the reason that Tutuka is underperforming is because years of mismanagement. Have you been able to have a conversation with maybe people from Tutuka to say what actually is the problem at Tutuka and why specifically the President chose this power station?
Unfortunately, Liabo, at this point where we have arrived, Tutuka is highly guarded, and we haven't been able to speak to any officials yet, and I doubt that we would be able to do that without speaking to perhaps the Eskom executive first about that. So I doubt that it's something that it's the kind of information that would be able to get before this oversight meeting happens. We are hoping that there would hopefully be a press briefing that takes place where we can pose those kind of questions, and indeed also ask about what happens when a power station is underperforming like this. Do you keep it running? What do you do? There was talk earlier on from Eskom, if I'm not mistaken, about that action would have to be taken against power station managers whose power stations are not performing optimally. So it is really a waiting game.
All right, Liabo Setho, thank you so much for talking to us. We'll keep an eye on whether the president, what time the president actually arrives there at Tutuka Power Plant in Mpumalanga. There was our reporter, Liabo Setho, out there keeping an eye for us on that story. Remember, we've had rolling blackouts in this country for the past 6 weeks or so, and at some point, remember, Eskom had blamed it on the strike at that time. That was the explanation that we got from Eskom at that time. So it will be interesting to see what the president does when he does arrive at Tutuka Power Plant. He is expected to be accompanied by his ministers. Hopefully the minister there, Gwede Mantashe or Pravin Gordhan, will then arrive with the minister. Hopefully we'll also hear from the general manager of Tutuka Power Plant. What we do know, though, is that we expect the president to arrive at any given time.